I ask unanimous consent that all members have 5 legislative days to revise and extend their remarks and to submit extraneous materials on the topic of this special order.
Without objection.
Mr. Speaker, we're here tonight to celebrate the remarkable life and legacy of one of our good friends, a great Texan, a great mentor, a great member of Congress, our friend and our colleague, Dr. Michael Burgess. Sadly, Dr. Burgess is stepping away from these hallowed halls to hang up his boots back home. I'm not quite sure we're going to let him do that, but we're going to give him grief over that. But he is leaving these hallowed halls of Congress to hang up those great boots back home in the great state of Texas. Check this out. After 22 dedicated years of service, not just to this institution, the people of America and the people of Texas. Mr. Speaker, Dr. Michael Burgess has exemplified the very best of what it is not only to be a Texan, but to be a physician, to be a husband, a father, to be a congressman. He's the real deal, Mr. Speaker, with unshakable resolve and a servant's heart. I've watched him up close and personal these last 12 years. With absolute unshakable resolve and a servant's heart, Michael Burgess has tackled some of the most challenging issues facing our nation. He's always had the needs of Texans and Americans at the forefront, both of those, Texans and Americans. As one of the very few physicians in Congress, Dr. Burgess, his expertise has been an absolute guiding light on health care policy, and his unwavering advocacy for the unborn has been a testament to his absolute deep moral convictions. Dr. Burgess, let me say, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I could tell you things about him from being with him in the Texas lunch and knowing him personally and watching him up close and personal as he sits on what we call the Texas row back here. I don't have enough time to tell you about the stories and the discussions we've had and what it revealed about the man, Dr. Michael Burgess. I could be here for a long time. I don't know how much time you have, Mr. Speaker, but I could be here for a long time. In Texas, we believe in rolling up our sleeves, getting the job done, and never backing down from a fight. And let me tell y'all, that epitomizes one Dr. Michael Burgess, who has done that right here in what I call those hallowed halls of Congress. His dedication to conservative principles and his commitment to values that make not only Texas strong, but this country strong, has left an indelible mark on this institution. Michael, we are sad that you're leaving. I'm still not sure we're gonna let that happen, but bless you, brother. As you return to the Lone Star State, we know that you will continue to embody the spirit of Texas, where faith and family and freedom remain at the center of everything we do. Mr. Speaker, Dr. Michael Burgess epitomizes that. He really epitomizes that. So, Dr. Burgess, as you step into the well-deserved next chapter, we must also recognize the support of your beautiful wife, Laura, who's been your steadfast partner throughout these 22 years of service. You know what they say, behind every great leader is a strong family, but it's one that he built. It's one that he built. And his bride, Laura, has shared in those sacrifices that come with public service, standing by him with grace and strength. So before I begin to conclude, I do want to yield to my friend from Texas also, Dr. Brian Babin, for his comments as we absolutely salute Dr. Michael Burgess and applaud him and just absolutely love the work that he's done. I yield to the gentleman from Texas.
Thank you, my friend. Randy, I appreciate you having this for such a very, very close friend. But I want to rise today, Mr. Speaker, to recognize really a close friend, a fellow Texan, Dr. Michael Burgess, for his distinguished career for 22 years serving here in the U.S. House of Representatives. I want to thank you, Mike, for being a wonderful mentor over the years, for showing me and so many others of our colleagues just how to serve the American people with integrity and with honor, and the shining example that you have been to all of us here. No matter the topic, your position on energy and commerce as the chairman of the Rules Committee or at one of our Doctors Caucus meetings, over the years, you have always been an invaluable resource to me and countless other ones. We will miss your knowledge, your expertise, your brilliant intellect, your wise counsel, and how well that you represented our great Lone Star State. Your legacy will carry on for many, many generations to come. And I want to thank you for being a dedicated public servant, a proud Texan, and a great American, without any question. I also want to extend our deepest sympathies and our prayers at the recent tragic and untimely loss of your daughter, Christine. We want to wish you, Laura, and your entire family all the best. Godspeed, my friend. May God bless you all. We will see you soon, and I want to keep in contact with you for the rest of our days. God bless you. Thank you. I yield back.
I thank Chairman Babin for his great remarks, his heartfelt stuff, because he shares the sentiment of all of us, Dr. Michael Burgess. It's my joy to now recognize the chairman from Oklahoma, Mr. Frank Lucas, for his remarks.
Thank you, Congressman Weber, for the opportunity to participate in this important discussion this evening. I can't think of a person that I have interacted with for the last 22 years that I've enjoyed any more than Dr. Burgess. Saying in that general area back there, occasionally he would veer away from the Texas row and interact with the Okies, where we analyzed the leadership, we analyzed the committees, we analyzed the work product. His insights were just as amazing as his personality. And let's be honest, if you have toiled through the Budget Committee, as Dr. Burgess did, as a good member, if you worked diligently for decades almost on the Energy and Commerce Committee, and then had enough patience and grit and willpower to be a Rules Committee member for a number of years and chairman of the Rules Committee, that says something about your commitment to this body, this country, this Constitution, and yes, Doc, I'll admit it as an Okie, your commitment to the Republic of Texas. With that, let me yield back.
The gentleman, the admirer of the Republic of Texas, yields back. And I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Chip Roy.
I thank my friend from Texas. I'm here tonight, as we all are, to celebrate the career, the legacy, and the friendship of Chairman Dr. Michael Burgess. We're going to miss you. It has been an honor to serve alongside you in two committees, the Rules Committee and the Budget Committee. An honor to work with you on health care policies and any number of things. I've learned from you. I've probably made your life a little more interesting than you would prefer on the Rules Committee. But it has been an honor to serve alongside you, and I truly mean that. There's a lot of words that are thrown around about people that have an impact on us when we're here, but I will always remember your grace in front of a number of circumstances, but particularly in the last couple of weeks. And I will just say that, as you said this last week, and the peace of God, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and minds through Christ Jesus, Philippians 4:7. And your faith stands as a testament to all of us. Godspeed.
I thank the gentleman from Texas, and I yield as much time as he may consume. The chairman from Kentucky, Mr. Brett Guthrie.
Thank you, my good friend from Yielding. I appreciate that. I'm here to honor one of my dear friends. When I first got on the Energy and Commerce Committee, the battle that was going on in that committee was over healthcare policy, and Dr. Burgess knew it frontwards and backwards. Matter of fact, I always like looking at his copy of the Affordable Care Act, and I think it was tabbed. It was he even diagrammed sentences, I believe, in that to make sure he understood it and could explain it and try to figure out how to fix it. And he was always going that direction. When I was on the committee, when he was chair of the subcommittee, I became his vice chair. And that's when he became more than a friend. He became a mentor, somebody that just admired the way that he studied, he learned, he was an expert. And whatever subcommittee you were on, particularly healthcare, and so I just he mentored me, and as someone that set a standard that I tried to live by. When I had the chance to become the subcommittee chair and now chairing the Energy and Commerce Committee, it's a privilege. And I just want to say this: Congress truly is a snapshot of America. We come from all walks of life. We bring different perspectives. And Dr. Burgess, Chairman Burgess, being OBGYN. I'll never forget the series of hearings we had on maternal health, because America, and if you controlled the studies for all the things you think was causing a problem with maternal health, we still were having issues with maternal health, the life expectancy of the mother. And we had detailed hearings because he brought his experiences, his care, and said, this is a problem that should not exist in this country. And I'll never forget, one of the hearings that I remember most is when we had Parkland Hospital from Dallas and other hospitals from New York and talking about how we take care of the mothers of our children after they give birth. And policies came out of that. And I think it's a legacy you'll have by tying your career and your political drive. But most important of all, the love for this. You love Texas and you love this country, and that is infectious. And I appreciate your chairmanship of the Rules Committee and your mentorship of me, and I will yield back.
Well, I thank the gentleman for yielding back. You bring a great perspective to it, Brett. And so, Austin, I'm going to yield to Mr. Scott now for his comments.
Well, thank you. And, Mr. Speaker, I rise today to just honor Chairman Burgess. And I want to thank you, Chairman Burgess, for just being just a good, solid, steady voice on a lot of complex issues. I want to thank your family. I'll tell you, unless you've been here, nobody knows the toll it takes on your family. And I was glad to see them here the other day when they unveiled your portrait that will hang in this Capitol for years to come. And I want to thank the people of Texas for sending you here. This place, this country. It's better because you've spent so much time up here in these hallways of Congress, and you're just one of those people who always did right and was always working to find a way to get that good piece of legislation across the finish line. And we need more people like you up here. And I'm sorry to see you go, but just a good, solid American with good common sense, standing up for the Constitution and our American way of life. So thank you, Godspeed, and I look forward to continuing our relationship for many years to come.
Well, I thank the gentleman from yielding, and now I yield as much time as she may consume from the chairwoman from North Carolina, Dr. Fox.
Thank you so much, my colleague from Texas, and all the people who've come here to praise Dr. Michael Burgess. I join them in recognizing him on his pending retirement. For over 2 decades, he has more than ably represented the people of the 26th District of Texas, as well as all Americans. Alongside his outstanding service on the Energy and Commerce Committee and the Budget Committee, Michael Burgess was selected this year as the chairman of the Rules Committee where he and I served together in years past. Having engaged with him many times this year in the hot seat opposite the dais where he sat, I can attest that he's done a fine job of leading the Rules Committee. Dr. Burgess is a person of strong intellect and wisdom, along with collegiality and good humor. Dr. Burgess, you will be sorely missed for all your wonderful traits. I also want you to know that you and your family are in my prayers, and I know you're in the prayers of our entire conference, as well as many others. And I want to associate myself with the other kind comments and positive comments and true comments that have been made about you tonight. My hope is that God will continue to bless you and keep you and your family in the palm of his hands. We really will miss you, Mike. Thank you for your great service. I yield back.
The gentlelady yields back. I now recognize as much time as she may consume to our friend Barbara Lee from California.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for yielding. First of all, let me just say, Mr. Speaker, that I want to associate myself with the remarks that have been made tonight about my friend, the Honorable Dr. Michael Burgess. A couple of things, and I thought, since I'm retiring also, and we're here on the floor tonight, to take a moment to tell Dr. Burgess how much I appreciate his leadership and his friendship. You know, we both, and so often you don't hear about stories of members, Republicans and Democrats working together. So I decided, you know, let me tell a few stories about Dr. Burgess. First of all, you know, we believe that the taxpayer dollars need to be protected and to be used for what we intend taxpayer dollars to be used for. And we talked and realized that the only agency that had never been audited was the Pentagon. And so Dr. Burgess and I worked for years to finally get the requirement into a bill that the Pentagon be audited, because we know that there are billions of dollars in waste, fraud, and abuse, but we did not know how much, and we were shocked that this was the only agency that hadn't been audited. And this never would have happened had it not been for Dr. Burgess and myself working together. We finally put a requirement into the bill that the Pentagon conduct an audit, finally. But guess what? And we talked the other day about this. The Pentagon has flunked its seventh audit. And so we're going to, I'm originally from Texas, represent the beautiful 12th Congressional District, and just know that I'm going to continue to work also, and I know Dr. Burgess will work to make sure that we finally get a clean audit from the Pentagon, because taxpayers deserve for their to know where their tax dollars go and that they're not being scammed by the Pentagon. Secondly, I want to thank you for your work on diabetes. You know, as a member of the Diabetes Caucus, I think for a while you were co-chair of the Diabetes Caucus with Congresswoman Diana DeGette, and he has done remarkable work. When you look at diabetes and the disproportionate impact of on people of color, African Americans especially, we've looked at ways to prevent amputations and ways to really make sure that the health care is there for those who are suffering diabetes to prevent the terrible, terrible consequences of that disease. And I just want to take a moment to thank you, Dr. Burgess, for your work on that. I know that I'll be seeing you in this next chapter of your life and of my life, and I wish you well, and may God bless you, and you are also in my thought and prayers as you go through this very difficult period. Thank you again, and thank you for yielding.
We thank the gentlelady from California for yielding, and now yield as much time as she may consume to the gentlelady from Minnesota, Michelle Fishback.
Thank you very much. And Madam Speaker, I rise to thank Dr. Burgess for his friendship and for kindness. And I want to wish him a very happy and restful and well-deserved retirement. It's been an honor to serve with Dr. Burgess, and particularly on Rules. I joined Rules as a freshman, and he has been a steady, guiding hand and an excellent example of a statesman. As chairman, he has been a kind and thoughtful leader, and I will certainly miss you in that role, Dr. Burgess. I'm also grateful for the time that we spent on a trip to Canada, and I enjoyed being part of the visit to your grandfather's home in Montreal. I will sincerely miss seeing you at work, and I'm happy about your next chapter and your retirement. And I thank you for your service. I thank you for your service to the country, to Congress, and to your constituents. But most of all, I thank you for your friendship, Dr. Burgess. And congratulations, and God bless you and your family. I yield back.
Madam Chairman, I now recognize the gentleman from Texas, from Waco, Texas, Mr. Pete Sessions.
I thank the gentleman, Brother Weber, for you bringing tonight this conversation that members of Congress on a bipartisan basis can have about the gentleman from Texas, Michael Burgess. I am one of a few members that well remember when he was running for Congress in a contested primary, and I listened to Dr. Burgess on the radio before I had met Mike, and he was very clear and professional and straightforward about his rule of his idea of not only the rules that Congress should exist under, but also the American people, that they would be able to count on members of Congress who would come and do what they said they would do and work hard and do their best every day. Michael Burgess became not just a standard operating procedure in the Commerce Committee for understanding healthcare and commerce and certainly the things that happen in this country, but he became a stalwart for understanding the debate of leading America to understand what good healthcare would mean, how rules and regulations should be in their best interest, and how a market-based product, not just in healthcare, but what consumers would expect would be a part of that. In 2013, my knowledge of Mike, I asked Mike to come and join the Rules Committee. We had changed up a little bit at that time. I became chairman of the Rules Committee and knew that we needed experts from across the Congress. And so we changed from making the Rules Committee an exclusive committee to one where we would ask members to double down on their normal committee where they had extreme expertise, but also come and do then double duty at the Rules Committee many times late at night and certainly for hours at a time. After just 2 weeks of being on the committee, then Speaker John Boehner, who had caught me earlier and told me, I don't really know Mike very well, came back and said, he is a real asset to our conference and to the Rules Committee, and really congratulated Mike well behind his back, only to find out later that John did approach Mike and say, we're very proud of the job that you're doing. Mike, tonight we stand in awe of you. I often spoke about you being one of the most distinguished members of Congress, not only in your presentation, but also in your hard work back home. Tonight we say thank you. Tonight we say job well done, and perhaps more than that, service to a grateful nation that not only listen to your words, but listen to your advice about making life better for people. Because in fact, I think you, like Virginia Fox and other members of the committee at the time, we believe that there was no problem in America that we could not tackle, help resolve, and make better for the American people. And every bit of that you did through your devotion, dedication to the American people and your idea of what service meant. So congratulations to Dr. Michael Burgess. A thanks to his family, his beautiful young wife, Laura, for the service that he has given to the people of America. I yield back my time to the distinguished gentleman from Texas.
Madam Chairman, at this time, I'd like to recognize Judge John Carter to come up and share with us.
I'm thinking about the fact that I've probably known Michael Burgess longer than anybody here, because we both ran for office the same year. He ran against one of the sons of the leadership, and I ran against the chairman of Energy and Commerce son. So we had very similar races. We got the heck kicked out of us, but we won. And so when we first got up here, we immediately had a connection. And that connection has kept us close friends ever since. When people came to me and said, with a question about health care, I would say, I'm an old trial judge. You want to talk about justice, you want to talk about the law, I can probably give you a hand. But if you're going to talk about health care, I'm going to yield to Mike Burgess. You go talk to Mike Burgess, then he can talk to me and tell me whatever it is you're doing is the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do. And I've never been Mike's never failed me to give me the best advice. He's a close friend. He's very dear to me. We both kind of and I'm telling you, I failed on this deal. We both made a pact that we would leave at the same time. And then he decided to leave, and I wasn't ready to leave. So, hold on, Burgess, I'm coming one of these days. But I wish you'd stick around a little longer. He's such a friend and such a solid human being. We're blessed to have people like Mike Burgess in here. We can call him Doc, we can call him whatever we want to call him. He's always quietly ready to lend a hand on literally anything you want to do. As we heard about the conversation about looking at the Pentagon. I didn't know that. That was news to me, but a good idea. A dang good idea. So, Burgess, you and I know we're friends. I'm going to miss you, pal. I'll miss you a lot. And I may call you every once in a while just to make sure you're doing okay. Please give my warmest sympathy to your wife during these trying times. You also have that sympathy. You know that I consider you one of my very closest friends, and I'm sorry to see you leave, but we will keep in touch. I promise. God bless you, buddy.
Will the judge yield for a question?
Yes, sir.
So I'm like you. We didn't want him to leave with that whatever pact y'all made. But do you think his beautiful bride Laura had something to say about that?
I think something.
I do too. I thank the gentleman.
I wouldn't guess, but you know.
I thank the gentleman. Chair now recognizes the gentleman from Georgia, Buddy Carter.
I thank the gentleman for yielding, and I thank him for hosting this here tonight. Madam Speaker, I rise today in honor of my good friend and my colleague and one of my mentors, Dr. Michael Burgess, for his impactful time in Congress. Dr. Burgess has dedicated his congressional career to bettering not only the lives of his constituents in Texas, but also the lives of all Americans. I've had the distinct privilege of serving with Mike Burgess on both the Energy and Commerce Committee, the Budget Committee, and together in the Doctors Caucus. In all of these roles, Dr. Burgess has worked diligently to put America's patients first. He has worked on legislation to improve access to care for patients and to improve the lives of those suffering from sickle cell anemia. Dr. Burgess has also worked hard to increase maternal health outcomes and to enhance the quality of care for mothers. I can confidently say that Dr. Burgess has spent every second of every hour here in Washington, D.C., working towards the betterment of life for all of us. He's been a model member of Congress, and we will certainly miss him. I'm excited for him to get to experience the relaxation of life after Congress. After the many years of service to our country, there are few more deserving of a great retirement. Thank you, my friend. I really do appreciate all of your guidance, all of your work, all of your mentorship. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair now recognizes the gentleman from Texas, Jake Elsey.
Thank you, my friend. Speaker, I rise today with a full heart to honor my good friend, Chairman Michael Burgess. For over 2 decades, he's been a true leader for Texas' 26th District and a steadfast voice for our state here in Washington. But more than that, he's been a friend, a mentor, and someone you can count on no matter what. As a doctor, Michael brought a special kind of care to his work here in Congress. His deep knowledge of health care shaped policies that have improved lives across this country. And let me tell you, if you ever had a conversation with Michael about infrastructure or energy policy, he dives in with the same kind of determination and expertise, and that's the man he is, focused, committed, and always looking out for the folks back home. But as a relatively new member of Congress and of the Texas delegation, let me go off script here and just say, he's a giant. He's guided the Rules Committee for the last year in a way that I doubt very few people could. In turbulent waters, he has smoothed them with his composure, his humor, his knowledge, his patience, and his kindness. It's missing far too often in this place. And if you're looking on TV for Michael Burgess, you won't find him. You'll find him in a committee room or the study room or in the Texas delegation lunch instructing us on what's good and what's bad. And he never went off in sound bites. He knows what he's talking about. And so I had a great, beautiful speech written for you, but let me summarize by saying the first thing that came to mind when I knew we were talking about you today was, not everybody's heard this song, but in 1988, a band called Cinderella sang, "You don't know what you got until it's gone." When you're gone, we will always be missing you, and our delegation will have empty shoes that cannot be filled. Thank you for everything that you've done for us and this country. God bless you, sir.
The gentleman yields back. Now I recognize another gentleman from Texas, Keith Self.
Well, thank you to my colleague from Texas. It is a real honor to be here tonight. I thank you for hosting this important special hour. Michael Burgess and I have quite a history. We were primary opponents 22 years ago, and I finished third by 91 votes. Mike went on to win the runoff election and provide exemplary service to our nation, our constituents in CD 26. Shortly after that, I was recalled to active duty for enduring freedom and Iraqi freedom. It was obvious that God had his hand in both of our directions. My sister-in-law also worked for Michael Burgess for 18 years in your district office. You provided her the same leadership that you did your colleagues here in Congress. I am grateful for your friendship and for your tremendous service to our nation. I'm also proud of your track record of defending the Constitution and your bold leadership in the pro-life movement. I will tell you, abortion is a talking point for many members of Congress, but not Michael Burgess. You delivered about 3,000 babies in your career as a physician, and let me tell you, most of them, along with their parents and their siblings, voted for you, which I realized in 2002. Taking care of those mothers and their babies over the course of your 30-year medical career gave you a unique perspective on the value of life that he brought with him to Congress. He provided a bright beacon of light to the right to life struggle against those who advocate for abortion. You always showed up, you knew your stuff, you were prepared, and I will tell you, we will strive to carry on the mantle of pro-life, pro-liberty, and freedom for the next generation of congressional members. They've not only been your values, but they are our Texas values, and they're proving recently to be America's values. Dr. Burgess, I want to join my colleagues in letting you and Laura know that our hearts are heavy with yours. I will quote C.S. Lewis, "Her absence is like the sky spread over everything." We are truly sorry for your loss. May God bless you and Laura. Thank you. I yield back.
Now I recognize the gentleman from Virginia, Chairman Morgan Griffith.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for recognizing me to say a few words about my friend, Dr. Michael Burgess. First, I rise to congratulate you. You are finally graduating from Congress. You've done a great job during your 2 decades here, and your record highlights a staunch advocacy for health care legislation that addresses a variety of issues. Such issues include reducing health care costs, improving choices, and ensuring there are enough doctors in the country to tend to the health care needs of America's patients and veterans. Through the Energy and Commerce Committee, your keen intellect and institutional knowledge have served as invaluable resources to myself and to all. I am proud to have worked with you on health care related legislation. Now, I have to tell you, when I first got to the Energy and Commerce Committee, we were all talking about Obamacare. And I looked back, and there was this guy I didn't know from Texas, and he had the code sitting there, and it was about yay thick. And every now and then a debate would start up, and somebody would say something, often from the other side of the aisle, and would say, well, we didn't do this, or we did do this in the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare. And Dr. Burgess would be on point to respond, because notwithstanding the fact that he had the book there, he could immediately tell you whether or not what was being alleged was or was not in the act. And on at least 2 or 3 occasions, I can recall him citing the page and then reading from it. And we're talking about on the fly. We're not talking about 10 minutes to prepare or 20 minutes to prepare. We're talking about somebody finishes commenting, people yield time to Dr. Burgess, and he tells them what for. Not in a bad way, not in a mean way, just, well, that's not accurate. If you look at page 1206, you'll see yada, yada, yada. There is no one else in the United States Congress who has that kind of knowledge of our health care system. I wish I could say I did. I do not. I don't know anybody who knows the American health care system the way that Dr. Burgess does. It is absolutely amazing the way his mind works, and of course it takes hard work. Even when you got a good mind, it takes a lot of hard work as well. Further, I have to confess that, not having as much to do when I first got here, I used to go hang out from time to time at the Rules Committee. And Dr. Burgess was always there and was always asking key questions and important questions. And then when I occasionally appeared in front of the Rules Committee, not just being a geek, he always asked the best questions. And so, Dr. Burgess, I greatly appreciate all of that. As you are leaving Congress, I don't think it can be replaced. Oh, there might be 2 or 3 or 10 individuals who can combine to replace your knowledge, but there is no one individual who can do that. Now, I have to also confess to you tonight that it's not only that we share spots on energy and commerce, but we also share an affinity for country music. Earlier this year, at Dr. Burgess's personal invitation, I don't want anybody else getting mad at him, but he invited me to join him and country music legend Randy Travis to discuss some issues related to the rights of the performers in receiving benefits. So we've heard about issues from our colleagues on the other side where he was helpful. We've heard about the stuff that he's done that's been great. He's also has been working right up to the end to try to make sure that in a myriad of different issues that the American policy is the correct policy. I can't say enough what a great asset Dr. Burgess has been to the United States Congress, to the Energy and Commerce Committee, to the Rules Committee, and to me personally. I'm so thankful for his service and his leadership. And Dr. Burgess, I wish you peace, and I hope that your time in Texas or wherever you may end up is a good one. And I also hope that you will not be a stranger in the halls of the United States Congress, because I have to confess again, oftentimes I'd receive a phone call. Hey, Morgan, have you thought about doing this? I hope to continue to get those calls, Dr. Burgess. It's always helpful. So thank you very much. God bless you. God bless your family. And with that, Madam Speaker, I yield back.
I thank the gentleman. Madam Speaker, I'd like to this time recognize Danny Davis from Illinois for his comments.
Well, thank you, and I want to thank the gentleman for yielding. I rise to pay tribute to my longtime friend, associate, office mate. His office is around the corner from mine. We meet each other in the hall almost every day. But I really want to thank him for the tremendous service that he has provided to the people of this country, and especially the outstanding work that he has done in health care. But I'll also mention the fact that he is as much of a politician as he is a political person, but a doctor first and foremost. Michael, I thank you for co-chairing the caucus on sickle cell and working with Representative Lee and myself all the many years that we've been a part of that. I understand that our sickle cell bill is going to be in the CR whenever we get to it. And I also understand that one of the reasons that it's there is Dr. Michael Burgess. So Michael, as you go, wherever you go, however you go, and whatever you do, I'll just leave you with this old Irish blessing, and that is, may the road rise up to meet you. May the sun always be warm on your back. May the wind push you forward. And until we meet again, may the good Lord hold you in the hollow of his hand. Best of wishes, good luck, enjoy life. We'll miss you.
I thank the gentleman. And Dr. Burgess, talk to those of us who love you.
Well, I have to. Thank you for doing this. And it's all been so moving and so lovely. But if anyone tuned in late tonight in C-SPAN, they'd probably thought I passed because it really did sound like a eulogy. I'm still here, and I will continue to text you and call you and inform you. Analyze, as I think Mr. Lucas put it. I'm good at analysis, so I will still give you the benefit of my insight. But I want to thank you, Randy, for doing this. I didn't expect it. I've got some of my great staff up there in the gallery who've been watching and hanging on every word. You all have been very, very kind, and I really don't know what else to say, but I wanted to assure people that I was still here. It's been so moving that people might have thought I had left the building, but Elvis is still in the building.
Thank you, Dr. Burgess. You've been quite a mentor, quite a friend, and quite an example. As you and Laura proceed on your next step into your history, you all work for Texas. I want you to know that from us, our deepest gratitude and thankfulness.
Thank you.
It has been an absolute pleasure to serve alongside you and get to know you and to watch you. You probably don't know this, but I have a little bit of a sense of humor, and you do too. And so we really appreciate that. Brenda Gill and I will be praying for you and Laura, for your family, for God's blessings over this new chapter in your life. We hope it's filled with joy, peace, patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control, as Galatians 5 lays out, and the fruit of the Spirit. So just know that we love what you've done to serve this nation faithfully, and you are leaving a legacy that will not soon be forgotten. God bless you, Dr. Burgess, and may God continue to bless Texas and the United States because of you. We're grateful for you, my friend.
Thank you, Randy.
You betcha. Madam Speaker, I yield back.
The gentleman from Texas yields back. Under the Speaker's announcement,